biggest contribution to you guys yet. I mean, what do you think of his play, and why did you feel that tonight was the night that you're going to play him as much as you did?
Well, Nate's a tremendous competitor, somebody that brings great energy to our team, and especially when you go on the road and you play a really good opponent, you know it's going to be a hostile environment and the other team's going to be at their best. He's a guy that you put a lot of trust in, and when he was out there tonight, I liked his energy. I like what he brought to us defensively. He's a terrific cutter, shot maker, playmaker, so just happy for him that he's playing as well as he is.
TJ, how would you describe your guys' execution in the last 3 or 4 minutes?
I felt like, you know, we were striving all game. I mean, credit to Coach McCaffrey, their staff, and their players, because they spaced us out so well. They had such a great plan. They had us back on our heels for the first 35 minutes, and that's a huge credit to them. Our guys were, you know, we played relatively well against good teams, and they were relentless. And I felt like the last, 4 or 5 minutes, defensively, we were a little better guarding the dribble. We were a little better contesting, finishing plays on the glass. And then it allowed us to get out and go in transition. And I think, guys made big shots, whether it's Key, Kurt. There's a lot of big plays, Taman, late, where guys made plays. But our team is at its best when we're disruptive defensively, and then we get out and go transition. And again, to the credit of Coach McCaffrey and their staff and players, they did the great job of keeping us away from our game and our identity for 35 minutes or so.
I was going to ask about that, TJ, given the low frequency of live ball turnovers. You've yet had guys come in and hit shots just to keep you in, whether it be Kurt, Keyshawn late. What does that say about your team's ability to win in yet another way?
Yeah, I think, there's throughout the course of the season, you're put in a lot of tough spots, and there's a lot of challenges that come your way. And we really try to build, young men in our program that, we expect adversity to come. We expect there to be challenges. We don't prepare thinking we're going to play perfectly or everything's going to go well. And what really matters to me is because I think it's probably as important of a life skill as you can have, is when something doesn't go to your way, how do you respond? And our guys had that happen, over and over again. They were so good. We just couldn't get that game tie until I think it was 66-all. It's a big difference mentally when you can get back to even or even take the lead. And, I think it shows resiliency from our guys. I think there's a lot of pride in our program and playing for our fans and our alums and donors and everybody that does so much to give us this opportunity. I think there's certainly that pride there, and that showed up for us late.
What about with Taman and the second half that he had, and after the first half and everything he's been going through, like health-wise, the confidence for him to step up and take those shots still?
Yeah, I think I made the comment a few days ago about him being a superhero. And when you see the shots are great, but there were so many plays, hustle plays, rebounds, loose balls. I felt like he was so tenacious in that department. Those plays are, they're not 50-50 balls, and they weren't tonight with him. He commanded and demanded all of those. And as much as the shot making's great, the play making's great, the defense is great, I really believe that those plays are those energizing plays that take your team to another level and give everyone confidence. And the way that he makes them and the consistency he makes them with is a huge credit to his character and who he is as a person, the work that he puts in, and then, the pride that he has in the job well done.
TJ, it's been 10 years since Iowa State won in this building, and yet what's different about this team that's able to come here and win? And then what was different about the crowd? You seem to have a lot more fans here than usual.
Well, the continuity on our roster certainly is important. We were able to return, as many guys as we were that were with us, and I think, at this point in college athletics, having that continuity is important because those guys, we've been through some really tough fights together already. We've had that experience and those experiences under our belt last season, and then even for Taman and Demarion Watson to be here, 2 years ago when we took the loss. So I think it speaks volumes of our guys and how they lead one another, and their ability to just, focus on that task at hand, to have each other's back, because it is important. You've got to find ways to win a lot of different ways, and the way that went tonight probably wasn't my first choice coming into the game, but grateful and fortunate that our guys hung in there and found a way.
How important was Joshua's passing for the post?
Yeah, you know, Joshua, as we've seen, as each game has moved forward, he's gotten more and more comfortable. Our guys are looking for him more, and his skill level and intelligence and ability to make the right read and the right play is terrific. And it's really a challenge for a defense when you can throw the ball into him, and if you bring a double or help from anywhere, he's going to find the open shooter or the cutter, like he did with Heisey and Deshaun. So Joshua, it's a neat story because, I mean, he's somebody I've known since he was a sophomore in high school, and recruited him at my previous stop, had a lot of confidence in what he could do. So to be able to be on this journey with him now is really special, and to see his confidence continue to grow. I mean, I don't place as much credence into the numbers, but I mean, 19, 10, and 7 against a really good team on the road and a win is really impressive, and I still think there were so many more things he did to help us win that don't show up in the stat sheet.
You talked about this game maybe not going the way you wanted it to, or it not being your first choice. How important was it to kind of have to come back on the road with a new group while returning still some key players, but having so many new pieces at the same time?
Yeah, like I said, as much as proud of our resiliency, I mean, I think tonight, I mean, Iowa, they came out and they were ready to play. They were focused. They were locked in. They made shots. They backed us up time and time again. You know, but I think, you know, as much as I wish we would have dictated more with our defense early, I don't think we guarded the basketball in the first half or even, you know, most of the second half the way that we like to guard the ball in our pride in defending the basketball. And so for us, you know, you've got to find ways to win in different ways. And I think, like, in the end, yeah, certainly I would prefer our defense set the tone throughout the course of the game. But we were fortunate that we came back to our identity those last 5 minutes and really kind of locked in and focused on the team that we are and the team we need to be. And that says a lot about the character of our guys.
You
How
guys
much-
had 18 offensive rebounds, 11 in the second half, and you know nobody gets that many by accident. How did you sort of generate those second half opportunities, and how important was it to pulling this game out?
Yeah, I mean, for us, there's certain things that we can look at with our guys to determine the effort and the energy. And as I mentioned, I wasn't as pleased with how we defended the basketball. One area we certainly did a great job was on the offensive glass and being resilient there throughout the course of the game. It started right away, and the combination of Jackson and Jefferson going to each other into the paint and then being in position to rebound was extremely important. You know, Taman's ability to chase them down and keep extra possessions alive was important as well. But that's, you know, again, rebounding, there's a skill piece to it, but so much of it comes down to heart and determination and effort. And to be able to keep our focus on that area from start to finish, that was one of the big positives for me, for us, throughout the course of the game.